sitting alongside the banks of the River Wye. The now famous book town of Hay has played a crucial role in the history of the once turbulent Welsh borders. Today, the rather sleepy and romantic atmosphere that runs through its charming streets and which spills out into the rolling landscape beyond belies an often tumultuous past that has long defined the borderlands that separate England and Wales. Since the Norman conquest of the 11th century, this now popular tourist destination has attracted more than its fair share of trouble, and its fortunes over many centuries have followed the great political and military upheavals of the region's history. And at the heart of that story is Hay Castle, a rare survivor that's overlooked the town it spawned since it was built back in the 12th century. In the 3 centuries that followed its establishment, it was much fought over, sometimes captured, often destroyed and regularly rebuilt. It suffered the ravages of rebellion and repeated fires, but now, after nearly a decade of careful planning and some breathtaking renovation, it is set once again to take its place amongst the glittering crown of Wales' architectural gems. And I can't wait to take a closer look at all that's been going on. Since 2011, this once mighty fortress has been in the care of the Hay Castle Trust. They've been hard at work, raising an eye-watering £6.5 million to not only conserve and restore the castle's historic fabric, but also to reimagine and repurpose this internationally important monument, so that it can once again play its part at the heart of life here. Mari Fforde, the Trust's Heritage Learning Officer, has been with the project from the start, and she's showing me around. Hey Mari, nice to see you again.
Christian, oh, welcome back.
Wow, look at this. It's getting there, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, to try and imagine it without all this scaffolding, probably easier said than done, but you've got this vision, haven't you?
Yeah, things are moving on, aren't they?
Unbelievable. And to think how long this has been in the making.
I know. It takes a while, doesn't it? But every time you come back, you see things changing.
And then to imagine all of this.
I know.
Landscapes.
It's hard, isn't it, when it looks like it does now. It's not going to look like this forever.
Well, I can't wait to see just how far it's got.
Yeah, should we go inside?
Yeah, let's have a look. Wow.
It's quite impressive, isn't it?
What a space. This is astonishing.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
So tell us where we are and how it's ended up like this.
So this is going to be the entrance hallway. People come in through the doorway here, and this is the kind of access area to all other parts of the castle. But it had a big fire in 1939, and this whole area here was completely gutted. So lost the roof, lost all of the rooms, which is why it looks like it does now.
I mean, it's hard to visualise with all the hubbub of the work going on and so forth, but you can start to see just how this is coming together. You're going to keep it as this now big open space, albeit with this emerging, amazing steelwork frame that I guess is going to sort of take you through the building like a spiral.
Yeah, so there's a lift and a staircase, and this is the area where you access everywhere else in the site.
But are you going to treat it in any way?
No, this is actually how it's going to look. We're being quite honest about it. You might call it rough and ready, but you can see the damage that happened. We're not trying to rebuild it to what it had been at some point in the past. It's an honest kind of appreciation of this building as it is.
The lovely thing is you can see the architectural bones of it. I love the fact these beautiful mullioned windows, I can see some of the originals, some of the replacements, pouring light in, but also looking at the walls here, all these features that have been bricked up, these later fireplaces, the supports for the earlier floors that were in here. I mean, it's a lovely way of seeing the architectural components of a building like this.
I think it is. It's a way that you can tell the stories about the building itself, because it is a character here. We've got the people who lived here, but the building itself is also another character that can tell you about its history.
And the fireplace is gorgeous.
Yeah, we're going to have an open fire in there.
So it will feel a bit cosier.
It will be, not only the open fire, but we've got underfloor heating going in as well. And once all the windows are in and we've got a roof on, it won't be quite as chilly as it is now.
But in terms of the purpose of the building, because it's one thing to renovate a place like this, but the evolution of its purpose going forward, that's been something that's gone on for years, isn't it, in the planning?
Yeah, and there's been a lot of consultation about what we actually need to have here. And there's lots of things you take in. So there has to be a business plan. It's not going to just run with no money. So there's a cafe here. There's going to be a learning space. We've got a claw learning space, so for community access and people doing workshops and things. And a gallery on the top floor.
And dare I ask, a bookshop?
Oh yeah, got to have a bookshop. We're in Hay on Wye, the King of Hay bookshop.
Of course we have. Brilliant.
Which is just through there.
Yeah, let's have a look. Get away from the noise.
And so this is the King of Hay bookshop.
This is going to be lovely, isn't it? I love the floor.
It's looking really good, isn't it?
And what a place to come and peruse the bookshelves. And I love the fact that they've left that space so that window can really do its thing.
And that doorway there, which we've reopened up, that takes you down the steps to the Honesty bookshop down at the front.
And the Honesty bookshop, it's such an iconic part of Hay for anybody who's a regular visitor. So it's lovely that the two things are connected, and it's that connection back to the town that this project is really doing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm amazed for a building that's been so ravaged by fire throughout its history that this amazing timber wall survives.
It is beautiful, isn't it? You get little hints. You can see there's a little burnt section down there. So we mentioned the fire in 39 in there, and then in 1977, big fire in this side. So a lot of work had been done throughout the 80s and 90s, and we're working on top of that.
I mean, once is unfortunate, twice is sort of careless, isn't it, really?
We don't talk about it.
Oh, this is going to be a lovely space, isn't it? Look at that.
It's a huge fireplace. Didn't know it was there.
Seriously,
that was a surprise. Yeah, we've got really early photographs from the 1880s, and it was covered up, and then it had bookshelves in front of it.
How fitting.
I know.
But now you've revealed it.
And it's probably one of the oldest parts of the building as well, apart from the tower.
Wow. It's a shame the coffee shop's not
I know,
quite
could do with a
open
coffee
yet.
now.
But should we go up?
Yeah, upstairs.
Brilliant.
Okay, so if we go along here, we'll come through into the claw learning space.
And another gorgeous wall. Look at the bulge in that.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? We'll go through here.
The more you see of this building, the more you appreciate the scale of the undertaking.
Wow, look at the floor. Wow.
On the first floor, the Claw Learning Space will provide a stunning educational area with yet more breathtaking views to the Black Mountains beyond. But it's on the upper floor that the real majesty of the castle's architecture really shows itself.
Right, so here we are in the reading room where we're going to keep our archives.
This is a nice place to have a read, isn't it?
It's lovely, isn't it? All the woodwork and the beams and everything in here.
And the stories that these tell. I mean, you can see there's a bit of blackening here, isn't there? The fire is part and parcel of the history of this building.
So many things. That trunks in that beam, they tell us another story. The spine wall and the way it's slightly warped, everything's got a little thing to tell you about this building.
And again, I'm still staggered that this wall survives running through, as you say, the spine of the building. I can see where new bits have been added, but nonetheless, it's still there, isn't it? It still has a presence. It's still telling us its story.
And really important parts that are there as the modern building that we have today, but relating back to all that history.
So you talked about a gallery as well. That's not this.
No, we've got another space this side, but we can't go in at the moment. The builders are working in there, but we're going to make that so it's humidity and temperature controlled and secure so that we can borrow pieces of artwork, pieces from museums and have exhibitions in the future.
To kind of repurpose the building in its entirety and figure out what you're going to do with all these different spaces, that must have taken quite a long time to get right.
It's a really complicated process and it involves a lot of different people working together. So the builders that we have, John Weaver's Construction, and the architects, Micah, lots of conversations, lots of working out with lots of other people as well. So there's conservators, there's archaeologists, there's engineers, and it's an important stream running through it as well, the traditional building skills, because they're things we don't want to lose. And we've had apprentices working here, the stonework that we'll see outside, absolutely beautiful, giving people the chance to have that experience and work on those things.
I mean, could you have imagined where this project would go when it was first mooted over a decade ago?
I think a lot of people thought it was a crazy idea. And it costs a lot of money, and thanks to the National Lottery Heritage Fund, we have the opportunity to do that. But yeah, you've got to dream and think about these things, yeah.
I think it's staggering. And you just wonder if any one of those past generations that knew this castle could come back now and see it today, again, taking shape, giving itself a new purpose and a new future, and carrying on its conversation that it's clearly had with you and has with you. I think it's amazing, absolutely amazing. And the views from up here, looking out across the landscape there, just absolutely
It is
stunning.
great, but you know what? We can get an even better view. We'll go up on the scaffolding.
By far the most complicated element to this reconstruction is the castle's new roof. Tons of steel and timber have been hauled into place to cleverly span the main entrance hall below, rising to the challenge of connecting the original Norman tower to the later Jacobean mansion.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Isn't it just? It's like being inside the belly of a whale, the carcass,
isn't it?
Isn't it?
Swathes of carefully laid lead and thousands of the original stone tiles will eventually cover it, whilst the new steel staircase and landings will allow visitors access to enjoy the finest views in town.
And there we go.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
That is amazing, isn't
it
it?
Fantastic?
That is a view that nobody's really had the chance to enjoy for hundreds of years.
I know, it's absolutely astounding because you don't often see the river.
No.
And you get this view of the Wye.
And you can just see how the town has spilled out from the position here of the castle and how it's grown over those centuries. But of course, the key thing, the river meandering through the landscape, defining these borderlands. It is just beautiful.
So it would be wonderful when people can come up here. We'll have access for everybody. We've got a lift, stairs, everything, and you get to go in the tower there and see this fantastic view.
Wow. Can you recall when you first came up here and saw this view?
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic when the scaffolding first went up and we were allowed to come up. And I'd just never seen it before. I've been here for over 20 years, and to come up and have this open up in front of you, it's just absolutely wonderful.
Well, I have to congratulate everybody involved with this project, Mari. Thank you so much for showing me around. You're hoping that in a few months' time it will be finished and ready to go.
Yeah, we're
crossed.
looking forward to spring 21, hoping that we'll be able to open the doors and people can come in and appreciate and explore all of this.
Congratulations. But there's still clearly a bit to do, so I'll let you get on.
Oh, thank you.
Today, many of this region's once great fortresses lie abandoned, a fate that may well have befallen this one. Yet, in just a few short months, and after years of tireless work, it will reopen with an assured role at the heart of community life here. A building rooted in the past, but with a renewed vision and purpose for the future.